Good evening, my late night listeners. This is Sunny with Nite Muse Media, broadcasting tonight from somewhere above the 45th parallel where the nights are long and the mind sometimes wanders into interesting territory. We're exploring something a little closer to home, not the stars or the moon, but the human mind. Let me ask you something. Have you ever met someone who seemed to understand people too well? The kind of person who can read a room in seconds and they know when someone is nervous, or maybe if they're telling a little bit of a tall tale, or if they're hiding something. They are like a human lie detector. They understand emotions with uncanny accuracy, and yet something about them feels just different. Almost as if they understand emotion without sharing it. Psychologists have a name for a personality pattern that might explain this, and they call it the Dark Empath. Now, before anyone starts imagining comic book villains and secret mind readers, let's just break this down. Because the idea of dark empathy is actually rooted in something very real. Empathy itself comes in different forms. We think of emotional empathy most often. That's the one most of us relate to and understand. That's when you feel what another person feels, although we aren't actually going through the emotional event. We can understand it based on our own personal experiences. If someone is sad, you understand the feeling of sad, and so you can share their sadness. The same as if someone is feeling joyful, and you can share in their happiness. But there's another form called cognitive empathy. That's the ability to understand what someone is feeling without absorbing the emotion yourself. Think of it as emotional awareness rather than emotional participation. A skilled negotiator might understand exactly how the other person feels without becoming emotional themselves. And a therapist might recognize someone's pain while still remaining calm enough to help them. Cognitive empathy is a powerful social skill. Psychologists studying personality notice that some individuals who score high in certain personality traits also show strong cognitive empathy. Traits sometimes associated with what researchers call the dark triad. Wow, so many cool words in psychology. Now, those words sound dramatic, but what researchers discovered was something unexpected. Some people who have a mixture of these traits are also remarkably good at reading emotions. They understand people very well, sometimes better than highly empathetic individuals, but they experience those emotions very differently. Instead of feeling someone else's distress deeply, they observe it, and they analyze it, and then they interpret it, almost like watching emotional weather patterns. This combination led researchers to describe a personality style sometimes referred to as the dark empath. Someone who understands emotions clearly, but maintains emotional distance. Now, that ability can be used in very different ways. In the worst case scenarios, it can be used for manipulation. Someone who understands exactly what others feel may know precisely which emotional buttons to push. Is this a necessary skill in society? I mean, can it actually be useful? And the answer is absolutely. For instance, you have a surgeon. You don't want that surgeon panicking during a crisis in the OR room. And a firefighter cannot absorb the fear of everyone around them. Understanding emotion without being overwhelmed by it can sometimes be the difference between chaos and clarity. Perhaps the real question isn't whether dark empathy exists. It is, what do we do with emotional insight once we have it? Because empathy itself is not inherently good or bad. It's a form of awareness, like intelligence and perception. And that awareness can be used in many ways. You can use it for kindness, leadership, and persuasion. And again, unfortunately, manipulation. But Perhaps the most interesting part of the idea is what it reveals about human nature. We like to think of personality as simple. You have good people, you have bad people, you have kind people, you have cold people. But the truth is way more complicated. Human psychology is rarely black and white. More often, it lives somewhere in the gray zone. Perhaps the real superpower isn't dark empathy. Perhaps it is self-awareness, the ability to understand not only the emotions of others, but our own intentions as well, keeping ourselves in check. Because once we understand people, the next choice becomes ours. And that choice says far more about who we are than the abilities we possess. Follow the signals and question the noise. I'll see you on the night side.
Modest tranquility. Said I